There you go.
There it is. And I gotta
There
figure out
it
how to close
is.
this window so I don't hear myself talk like we did last time. But mine says it's still setting it up, so I'm not sure how it always shows up on your guys' first, but okay, close that window there. And close that. Close that. Close that. Close that. And open. Okay, well, welcome to our reading of Casablanca, at least part two of it. We're going to be starting off in the second half of our script since we didn't get to finish it all 2 weeks ago. And we will begin with introductions and then jump right into the reading since this is probably just as long as the last one. So, introduction wise, let's tell folks your name, where you're at, your personal pronouns, and how people can find you if they want to find you online, and also what roles or role you are playing, at least the major ones. So, and we'll go ahead and start with Aubrey.
Hi everyone, I'm Aubrey. My pronouns are whatever. I don't care. Like, I don't know, it's really funny. I'm from California and I am playing the role of Rick. And I am a singer and actress. And you can find my music on Spotify or YouTube if you so prefer. Just look up my name, Aubrey McCoy. And my album that is on there is Unexpected Journey. Just look it up with the name. You can find it. And also, I am on a YouTube channel called KCP, known as Kyber K Productions. You can find me there. And also, I've been on a spattering of little indie movies. So that's what I got. And I'm playing the role of Rick Blaine. And
Yes,
I'm playing a smaller role, but that's
all right. Vicky.
Hello, I'm Vicki Dykes. I'm an actress from Central Alberta, a small town, Penhold. And my pronouns are she, her. You can find me on Facebook under the name Vicki Dykes, and I'm also on Instagram. I'm Yoga Grandma 10. I'm in the middle of filming a yoga show, and we're editing and voiceover and stuff like that right now. And tonight, the main character will be Ilsa. I'm going to be doing some action and description in a couple of places and a bunch of little roles.
So, let's go down to Carolyn.
So I have a lot of names. Carol Ann Ashley Burtwell. Oh my God, thank you for waiting for me, and thank you, Kat, and your husband for helping me. I am an actor and a singer and an entertainer, and I've written 4 children's books that are on Amazon. I had my own music business for young children and their families, and I traveled all around singing concerts. I think the biggest life changer was the one I did in India to 100 blind children. That was just life changing. I also got kicked out of the Taj Mahal because they had a big sign that said no singing. And I knew it was one of the 7 wonders of the world. I knew it would echo like a million times. So I had to start singing Amazing Grace. And these 2 guys came up to me talking in Hindu, and just, of course, I knew what they were saying, but I kind of played dumb, and then they sort of carried me out of there. So, I'm a prankster, and I love these readings. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I have my kids' YouTube channel. I've mostly been in film, but when I was little, I was in theater, and now I've gotten back into theater. So I just love telling stories, and I'm glad to be here. So glad I finally made it in here. Thank you.
And you're playing Victor Laszlo and last set of actions and descriptions. And a few other
Yes,
small.
I'm sorry, I didn't say who I was playing. Okay. Yes, and I think of the dealer and Anna Brandel and a German officer.
Yep, yeah. Mr. Tag, and then a young officer and a gendarme. And then let's go to Jackson.
Hello, I am Jackson Gray. You can find me on any social media with that name. I I just finished my production of Grease.
Woo!
Yes, Grease the musical, so all the feels are coming through now. I'm playing Signor Ferrari and Major Strasser. Uh those are my major roles today, and pronouns are whatever you'd like. Yeah, that's me.
Awesome. And I am Kat Wilson, she, her, out of Gig Harbor, Washington. And tonight I'll be reading the first part of the actions and descriptions and a little bit in the middle. And my main character tonight is Renault, and playing also native Arab and head waiter. So speaking of actions and descriptions, since there are no actual delineations in the script as to where those are, I will try and keep track of the page numbers and let you know when they change. But essentially, if there's a big scene change, there's a likelihood that the action description reader will change also, at least when we get to part 4. So, all right. Without further ado, you're going to share our screen here and find our script, and we'll be starting in the black market. So for those of us who missed the first half of the reading, we've introduced all of our characters hiding here in Casablanca, and we have several are trying to desperately leave Casablanca, including Victor Laszlo and his wife Ilsa. And what better place to find those visas than dealing in the black market? So we'll see what happens from here. Let's see. So we start off in the black market, the cluttered Arab street bazaars, shops, and stalls. All kinds and races of people are milling about the merchandise. Native dealers that around the merchandise that native dealers have on outdoor display. Both men and women are dressed in tropical clothes. The canopies over the stalls give them some protection from the scorching sun. On the surface, the atmosphere is merely languid, but there is the sinister undercurrent of illicit trade. The camera moves along the row of stalls toward a disreputable building at the head of the market. On the entrance of the building is a faded sign, Blue Parrot Cafe. Over the scene, we hear the hypnotic sound of a single flute. During its progress through the marketplace, the camera picks up on the following fragmentary scenes. An American talking to a food vendor. The American looks a little confused. The camera moves on to a rug stall. The dealer is holding up a small Persian rug in an effort to sell it to an English couple.
But are you sure this is perfectly legal?
Madame, there is no rug in my shop that has not been smuggled in legally. You see, the authorities have been...
And the camera moves on close to the Blue Parrot Cafe. Near the entrance, a Frenchman and a native are talking together in low tones. But monsieur, you have to handle the police. That is a job for Signor Ferrari.
Ferrari?
It can be most helpful to know Signor Ferrari. He's pretty near got a monopoly on the black market here. We cut to the entrance to the Blue Parrot. Signor Ferrari comes out, looks impatiently up and down the street. We cut back to the medium shot of the native and the man. We'll find him over there at the Blue Parrot.
Thanks.
We cut to a medium shot of Signor Ferrari. He's about to go back into the cafe when Anina and Jan walk up to him.
Excuse me, you are Signor Ferrari, are you not?
Yes.
We were told that you might be able to help us.
Ferrari looks at him a moment before answering.
Come in.
He leads the way into the Blue Parrot, dissolved to a closed shop of Ferrari. His huge frame is rolling with laughter.
500 francs for an exit visa.
The camera pulls back to reveal that Jan and Anina standing like frightened children before Ferrari in his private office.
Young man, in Casablanca, 500 francs will buy you a pound of sugar, but not an exit visa.
But, Signor Ferrari, that is all we've got left. What can we do?
Perhaps if you have a talk with Captain Renault.
We have already talked with him.
She takes her husband's arm, preparatory to leaving.
I am sorry. That is all I can suggest.
The camera pans with them as we walk to the door. We cut to the interior of the Blue Parrot Cafe, much less pretentious than Rick's. The bar is well populated, but there are only a few people at the tables. Rick comes into the scene, walks toward Ferrari. He's wearing this usual deadpan. We cut to a medium shot of the outside door to the office. As Rick comes into the scene, the door opens and Ferrari comes out, ushering out Jan and Anina, who look very downhearted.
There, don't be too downhearted. Perhaps you can come to terms with Captain Renault.
Oh, thank you very much, senor.
He leads Anina away. Rick watches the couple as they move toward the door. Then he walks in the direction of Ferrari. Medium shot of Signor Ferrari as Rick walks into the shot.
Hello, Ferrari.
Signor Ferrari turns around, pleased to see Rick.
Good morning, Rick.
I see the bus is in. I'll take my shipment with me.
No hurry. I shall have it sent over. Have a drink with me.
I never drink in the morning, and every time you see my ship sent over, it's a little short.
Carrying charges. My friend carrying charges. Here, sit down. There's something I want to talk over with you. Anyhow, the bourbon. The news about Ugarte upsets me very much.
You're a fat hypocrite. You don't feel any sorrier for Ugartes than I do.
Of course not. What upsets me is the fact that Ugarte is dead, and no one knows where those letters of transit are.
Practically no one.
If I could lay my hands on those letters, I could make a fortune.
So could I, and I'm a poor businessman.
I have a proposition for whoever has those letters. I will handle the entire transaction. Get rid of the letters. Take all the risk for a small percentage.
And the carrying charges.
Naturally, there will be a few accidental expenses. That is the proposition I have for whoever has those letters.
I'll tell him when he comes in.
Rick, I'll put my cards on the table. I think you were those letters are. You know where those letters are.
Well, you're in good company. Renault and Strasser probably think so too. I came here to give them a chance to ransack my place.
Rick, don't be a fool. Take me into your confidence. You need a partner.
But Rick isn't listening to him. He is looking through the open door in the direction of the linen bazaar. We cut to a long shot of the linen bazaar with Ilsa and Laszlo. They have passed there in front of the linen bazaar. Laszlo leaves Ilsa and is walking toward the Blue Parrot Cafe. We cut to a medium shot of Rick and Signor Ferrari.
Excuse me, I'll be getting back.
Ferrari nods, takes a long drink. The camera trucks with Rick as he walks toward the door where he meets Laszlo coming in. Laszlo stops, addresses him politely.
Good morning.
Senor Ferrari is the fat gent at the table.
He continues out of shot. Laszlo looks after him with a puzzled expression. Medium shot of a linen stall where Ilsa is examining a napkin set, which an Arab vendor is endeavoring to sell. There is a sign on the counter by the display which reads 700 francs. From Ilsa's manner, it is apparent she's aware of Rick's approach and is pretending to be absorbed in the article to escape his notice. You will not find a treasure like this in all Morocco, mademoiselle. Only 700 francs. Rick comes in the shot.
You're being cheated.
Ilsa takes a split second to compose herself. When she turns to Rick, her manner is politely formal.
It doesn't matter. Thank you.
Ah, the lady is a friend of Rick's. Ah, for friends of Rick's, we have a small discount. 700 francs, did I say? You could have it for 200. Reaching under the counter, he takes out a sign reading 200 francs and replaces the other sign with it.
I'm sorry, I was in no condition to receive visitors when you called on me last night.
It doesn't matter.
Ah, for special friends of Rick's, we have a special discount. He replaces the second sign with the third, which reads 100 francs.
Your story left me a little confused. Or maybe it was the bourbon.
I have some tablecloths, some napkins.
Oh, thank you. I'm really not interested.
Only one moment, please. There is a small silence between Ilsa and Rick. She pretends to examine the goods on the counter.
Why did you come back? To tell me why you ran out on me at the railroad station?
Yes.
You could tell me now. I'm reasonably sober.
She looks at him quietly.
I don't think I will, Rick.
Why not? After all, I was stuck with the railroad ticket. I think I'm entitled to know.
Last night, I saw what has happened to you. The Rick I knew in Paris, I could tell him. He'd understand. But the Rick who looked at me with such hatred. No, I'll be leaving Casablanca soon. We'll never see each other again. We knew very little about each other when we were in love in Paris. If we leave it that way, maybe we'll remember those days. Not Casablanca, not
Did you run?
last night.
Did you run out on me because because you couldn't take it? Because you knew what it would be like hiding from the police, running away all the time?
You can believe that if you want to.
Well, I'm not running away anymore. I'm settled now. Above a saloon, it's true, but walk of a flight, I'll be expecting you.
Ilsa shakes her head.
All the same, someday you'll lie to Laszlo. You'll be there.
No, Rick. You see, Victor Laszlo is my husband.
Rick stares at her.
And was even when I knew you in Paris.
She walks away into the cafe toward Laszlo and Ferrari. Rick stares after her, then exits scene in the opposite direction. The Arab runs back, his arms loaded. He stops in consternation, looks from side to side, anguished. He puts his burden on the counter and with a sad headshake puts away the sign, says 100 francs, and replaces it with the original 700 francs. We cut to the interior of the cafe with Laszlo, Signor Ferrari, and Ilsa. Ferrari is helping Ilsa into a chair.
I was just telling Monsieur Lazo that unfortunately am not able to help him.
Oh,
You see, my dear, the word has gone round.
As leader of all illegal activities in Casablanca, I am an influential and respected man. If it would not be worth my life to do anything for Monsieur Lazo. You, however, are a different matter.
This is still me, right? Okay. Senor Ferrari thinks it might just be possible to obtain an exit visa for you.
You mean for me to go on alone?
And
I shall,
only alone.
I shall stay here, Elsa, and keep on trying. Perhaps in a little while.
We might as well be frank. Monsieur, it will take a miracle to get you out of Casablanca. And the Germans have outlawed miracles.
We are only interested in 2 visas, senor.
Please, Elsa, we mustn't be hasty.
No, Victor.
You two will want to discuss this. Excuse me. I will be at the bar.
He bows and goes.
Uh, no, no, Elsa, I won't let you stay here. You must get to America, and believe me, somehow I'll get out. I'll join you.
But Victor, if the situation were different, if I had to stay and there were only a visa for you, would you take it?
Laszlo hesitates.
Yes, I would.
Ilsa smiles faintly.
Yes, I see. Well, when I had trouble getting out of Lils, why didn't you leave me there? And when I was sick in Marseille and held you up for 2 weeks and you were in danger every minute of the time, why didn't you leave me then?
I mean to, but something always held me up. I love you very much, Elsa.
Your secret is safe with me. A Ferrari is waiting for our answer.
Medium shot of Ferrari at the bar, talking to the bartender.
Not more than 50 francs, though.
Ilsa and Laszlo come into the scene.
We've decided, Signor Ferrari, for the present, we'll go to looking for 2 extra visas. Thank you very much.
Well, good luck. Be careful. You know you're being shadowed.
Of course, it becomes an instinct.
I observe that you, in one respect, are a very fortunate man. Monsieur, I am proud to make one more suggestion. Why? I don't know. I do not know, because it cannot possibly profit me. But have you heard about Signor Urgent and the letters of transit?
Yes, something.
Those letters were not found. Oh,
Sorry, there we go.
those letters were not found on Urgent when they arrested him.
Do you know where they are?
Not for sure, monsieur, but I will venture a guess that Urgent left those letters with Monsieur Rick.
Ilsa's face darkens. Laszlo quietly observes.
Rick?
He is a difficult customer, that Rick. One never knows what he will do or why, but it is worth a chance.
Thank you very much. Good day.
They all get up.
Goodbye. Thank you for your coffee, senor. I shall miss that when we leave Casablanca.
You will gracious to share it with me. Good day, mademoiselle, monsieur.
Good day.
Ferrari walks toward the entrance of the cafe. The camera trucks with Ilsa and Laszlo as they start down the marketplace. He watches Ilsa out of the corner of his eye as they go along. We dissolve to exterior Rick's at night. The dark European is entering the cafe, his arm around a prosperous male tourist. Interior Rick's cafe, Sam and Karina. Sam is playing and Karina is singing. The tourist and the European enter. Medium shot of the bar with the dark European and the tourist.
Here's to you, sir.
Yeah, good luck, yeah.
I'd better be going.
My check, please.
I have to warn you, sir. I beseech you.
Yeah?
This is a dangerous place, full of vultures. Vultures everywhere.
Yeah?
Thanks for everything.
Goodbye, sir.
It has been a pleasure to meet you. Oh, I'm sorry.
Medium shot interior Rick's cafe. Sam and Karina finish their numbers. Strasser and his crowd enter the cafe, pass Carl and Rick, and exit to bar. Camera stops at Rick's table, where Carl joins him, bringing him a brandy bottle and a glass.
Mr. Rick, you are getting to be your best customer.
Carl exits and Rick pours himself a drink. Medium shot at the table, Rick and Renault. Well, Ricky, I'm very pleased with you. Now you're beginning to live like a Frenchman.
That was some going over your man gave my place this afternoon. We just got it cleaned up in time to open.
I told Strasser we would not find the letters here, but I told my men to be especially destructive. You know how that impresses Germans. Rick, have you got those letters of transit? Rick looks at him for a moment.
Louis, are you pro-Vichy or free French?
Serves me right for asking a direct question. The subject is
Well,
closed.
well, looks like you're a little late.
Huh? Medium shot, Rick and Renault. Rick is gazing at Yvonne and a German officer approaching the bar.
I see Yvonne has gone over to the enemy.
Who knows? In her own way, she may constitute an entire second front. I think it is time for me to flatter Major Strasser a little. See you later, Rick. Medium shot at the bar, Yvonne and officer.
Sasha!
French 75s.
I put up a whole row of them, Sasha. Starting here and ending there.
We will begin with 2.
In the background, one of the French officers makes a remark which causes laughter from his group. We do not catch the words, but the remark is very evidently directed at the German officer and his French companion. The German officer turns toward the group, his face very sad. A French officer steps out from the group.
Bye. You are not French. Do go with a German like this.
Oh, what are you butting in for?
I am butting in.
It's none of your business.
No, 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 no. 1 minute. What did you say? Would you kindly repeat it?
What I said is none of your business.
I will make it my business.
Stop. I beg of you. I beg of you. All right, stop.
The German officer raises his fist, and the French officer prepares to defend himself. There are exclamations from the people nearby. Rick walks into the shop between the 2 men and addresses the German.
I don't like disturbances in my place. Either lay off politics or get out.
dirty blush. Somebody will have our revenge.
Cut to Strasser's table. Renault, Strasser, and the other German officers have settled back in their chairs.
You you'll see, Captain. The situation is not as much under control as you believe.
My dear Major, we are trying to cooperate with your government, but we cannot regulate the feelings of our people.
Captain Renault, as you entirely concern which side you are on.
Frankly, I have no conviction, if that is what you mean. I blow with the wind, and the prevailing wind is blowing from the ship.
And if it should change,
Surely the Reich does not admit that possibility.
we are concerned about more than Casablanca. We know that every French province in Africa is
Sorry.
honeycombed with traitors just waiting their leaders, their chances, waiting perhaps for a leader.
Leader like Laszlo?
Hey, uh-huh. I have been thinking. It is too dangerous if we let him go. I may be too dangerous if we let him stay.
I see what you mean. Medium shot of the Luchtag at table. They are a middle-aged couple. Carl comes into the scene with brandy.
I brought you the finest brandies. Only the employees drink in here. Here.
Caroline, let's see.
Yeah. Thank you, Carl.
For Mr. Lichtag.
1,000 thanks. Carl, sit down. Have a brandy with us.
We celebrate our leaving for America tomorrow.
Thank you very much. I thought you would ask me, so I brought a good brandy and the glass.
At
At last. Oh, sorry.
last the day has come.
Van Luchtag and I are speaking nothing but English now.
So,
So,
so we should feel at home when we get to America.
a very wise idea.
To America.
Mrs. Luchtag and Carl repeat to America, and they click their glasses and drink.
Sweetness heart. What? Watch.
Not that much.
Such much?
You will get along beautifully in America, huh?
Cashier's booth in the gambling room. Alternate scene number is shot and credited 154B. Anina is emptying her bag of bills, which she lays on the counter.
200 francs worth, please.
The cashier hands out the chips, takes in the bills. The camera trucks with Anina as she crosses to the roulette table, where Jan is bending over the spinning wheel. Anina watches breathlessly over his shoulder. The wheel stops. The croupier takes in chips. Jan wipes his forehead.
Black again.
This is all we have, John. Do you think we should?
We might as well have nothing as 200 francs.
He begins to scatter the chips recklessly over the board. Anina looks at him for a moment, comes to a silent resolve, and walks toward the hallway. We cut to the hallway where Anina comes from the gambling room, meets Renault. How's Lady Luck treating you? Oh, too bad. You'll find him over there. Medium shot of Anina. She stops, looks in Rick's direction, steels herself to approach him. Then her mind made up, she makes her way to his table, camera trucking with her.
Monsieur Rick,
Yes?
could I speak to you in here? Oh, no, sorry. Could I speak to you just for a moment?
Rick looks at her.
How did you get in here? You're underage.
I came with Captain Renault.
I should have known.
But my husband is with me too.
Yes. Captain Renault is getting broad-minded. Sit down. Will you have a drink?
No, thank you.
Of course not. Do you mind if I do?
No. Monsieur Rick, what sort of man is Captain Renault?
Oh, he's just like any other man. Only more so.
But I mean, is he trustworthy? Is his word?
Now, just a minute. Who told you to ask me that?
Well, he did. Captain Renault did.
I thought so. Where is your husband?
At the roulette table, trying to win enough for us to exit visas. Of course, he is losing.
Rick looks at her closely.
How long have you been married?
8 weeks. We come from Bulgaria. Things are very bad there, monsieur. A devil has the people by the throat. So Jan and I, we do not want our children to grow up in such a country.
So you decided to go to America.
Yes, but we do not have much money, and travel is so difficult and expensive, monsieur. It took much more than we thought to get here. Then Captain Renault sees us, and he is so kind. He wants to help.
I'll bet.
He tells me that he can get an exit visa for us, but we have no money.
Does he know that?
Oh, yes.
And he is still willing to give you a visa?
Yes, monsieur.
Rick looks down at his drink for a moment.
And you want to know?
Will he keep his word, monsieur?
He always has.
There is a silence. Cut to Rick and Anina. Anina is very disturbed.
Monsieur, you are a man. If someone loved you very much, so that your happiness was the only thing in the world that she wanted, and she did a bad thing to make certain of it, could you forgive her?
Nobody has ever loved me that much.
But monsieur, if he never knew, I mean, if the girl kept this bad thing locked in her heart, that would be all right, wouldn't it?
You want my advice?
Oh, yes, please.
Go back to Bulgaria.
Well, if you knew what it means to us to be able to leave Europe to get to America, what if Jan should find out? He's such a boy, and in many ways, I am so much older than he is.
Yes, well, everybody in Casablanca has a problem. Yours may work out. You'll excuse me.
Cut to a close shot of Anina. She looks down at the tablecloth. Her lips are trembling.
Thank you, monsieur.
She remains seated. We cut to a medium close shot of Rick as he comes from Anina and crosses over to the desk. Medium shot of Rick, deadpan, as usual, walking among the tables. He stops short as he sees someone entering. We cut to a medium shot at the resolving door of Ilsa and Laszlo, who have just come in. Rick comes up to them.
Good evening.
Good evening. You see, we are here again.
I take that as a great compliment to Sam. I suppose to you Sam means Paris of, well, happier days.
He does. Could we have a table close to him?
And as far from the Captain Strasser as possible.
Well, the geography might be a little difficult to arrange. Paul, table 30.
Cut to a close shot of Ilsa as Rick confers with the head waiter as she looks at Rick intently. We cut to a full shot of Rick, Ilsa, Laszlo, and the head waiter. Yes, sir. Right away, if you please.
I'll have Sam play as time goes by. I think that's your favorite tune.
Thank you.
She follows Laszlo to their table. Rick, camera following, walks to Sam, bends over, and whispers something to him.
2 cognacs, please.
Sam shakes his head, but starts to play as time goes by. Rick looks in Ilsa's direction, but she seems to be paying no particular attention. Rick saunters toward the gambling room. Anina, in the background, rises and follows him. Interior gambling room. Rick enters and approaches croupier. Cut to a medium shot at the roulette table. Jan's eyes are tragic. He has only 3 chips left. He seems bewildered. As Rick comes into the scene, the croupier is saying to Jan,
Oh, do you wish to place another bet, monsieur? No, I guess not.
Rick walks into the scene, stands opposite Jan.
Have you tried 22 tonight? I said 22.
Jan looks at Rick, then at the 2 chips in his hands. Pause. He puts the 2 chips on 22. We cut to a shot of Rick and the croupier as they exchange looks. Croupier understands what Rick wants him to do. He spins the wheel. We cut to a close shot of the croupier looking at Rick. Cut to Carl in the background, looking at the wheel, fascinated.
No more bets, even and pass.
Cut to a full shot at the wheel. It stops spinning.
Number 22.
The croupier pushes a pile of chips onto the number. Jan reaches for it.
Leave it there.
Jan hesitates. Anina looks at Rick. Jan withdraws his hands. In the background, Carl draws a little closer. Rick spins the wheel. Nobody speaks while it spins. It stops.
Number 22.
In the background, Carl gasps. The croupier shoves a pile of chips towards Jan.
Cash it in and don't come back.
In the background, the last 2 customers are seen walking out. One of them is complaining to Carl.
Say, you sure this place is honest?
Carolyn,
Oh,
let's see.
That's me. Honest as the day is long.
Close shot of Jan and Anina at the cashier's desk, and then they cut to a close 2 shot of Rick and croupier.
What are we doing tonight?
Well, a couple of thousand less than I thought they would be.
Rick smiles and exits toward the bar. In the interior hallway leading to the bar, Rick enters from the gambling room. Carl comes up to them as they walk toward the bar. Anina follows them and comes to Rick and kisses him.
Monsieur Rick,
He's just a lucky guy.
May I get you a cup of coffee, Monsieur Rick?
No thanks, Carl.
Medium shot of Renault, Anina, and Jan in a corner near the bar. Jan is pressing the bills onto him.
Captain Renault, may I?
Oh, not yet, please. Come to my office in the morning. We will do everything businesslike.
We'll be there at 6.
I'll be there at 10. How happy I am for both of you. Still, it's very strange that you won. We cut to medium shot of Rick at the bar, and a full shot of Renault, Anina, and Jan. Ah, well, perhaps. Oops, hang on, stop moving. Ah! All right. We'll get back on scene here in just a sec. Well, perhaps not so strange. I will see you in the morning.
Oh, thank you so much, Captain Renault.
She and Jan, beaming with happiness, go off. Renault looks after her regretfully. Then he walks toward Rick, and we cut to a close shot of Carl and Sasha. Carl whispers in Sasha's ear. Sasha says no. Sasha runs to Rick.
Boss, You have done beautiful things.
Go away, you crazy Russian.
Interior or hallway, Renault comes from the gambling room and exits to the bar. Medium shot on Rick. Pretending not to do so, he's glancing in Ilsa's direction. Renault comes up to him. Haha, as I suspected, you are a rank sentimentalist.
Yeah? Why?
Why do you interfere with my little romances?
Put it as it down as a gesture of love.
I forgive you this time, but I will be in tomorrow night with a breathtaking brunette. It will make me very happy if she loses.
Hmm.
He smiles, walks into the gambling room, and we cut to Laszlo approaching Rick.
Monsieur Brain, may I talk to you?
Go ahead.
Well, isn't there some other place? This is rather confidential, what I have to say.
Come up to my office.
As they start up, we have a quick dissolve to the interior of Rick's office where Rick is seated at his desk, and we switch narrators to, at the end of the scene, we'll switch narrators to the beach. So right now,
There's no use our fencing around. You came about those letters of transit, haven't you?
I have.
It seems to be the general impression in Casablanca that I have those letters.
Have you?
I don't want to do I don't want to do anything to either bolster or dispel that impression.
pause.
Suppose we proceed under the assumption that you have the letters.
Go ahead.
Right. You must know that it's very important I get out of Casablanca. It's my privilege to be one of the leaders of a great movement. You know what I have been doing. You know what it means to the work, to the lives of thousands and thousands of people, that I be free to reach America and continue my work.
Not interested in politics. The problems of the world are not in my department. I'm a saloon keeper.
My friends in the underground tell me that you have quite a record. You ran guns to Ethiopia. You fought against the fascists in Spain.
What of it?
Isn't it strange that you always happen to be on the side of the underdog?
Rick thinks a
Yes.
moment.
Yes, I found that a very expensive hobby too. But then I never was much of a businessman.
Are you enough of a businessman to appreciate an offer of 100,000 francs?
I appreciate it, but I don't accept it.
I'll raise my offer to 200,000.
My friend, you can make it 1,000,000 francs or 3. My answer would still be the same.
There must be some reason why you won't let me have them.
From the cafe, we hear the sound of male voices raised in song. Rick gets up.
There is. I suggest that you ask your wife.
Laszlo looks at him, puzzled.
I beg your pardon.
I said, ask your wife.
My wife?
And now we switch narrators.
And the sound of the male singing grows louder.
Yes.
He goes out, leaving Laszlo to stare after him. Cut to interior cafe, 2 German officers, beer mug in hand, are standing by the piano singing the Waltz am Rhein. Sam, looking very uncomfortable, is accompanying them. Everybody in the room is looking at them, and suddenly Sam stops playing. An officer swears at Sam in German, grabs Sam, and lifts him off the stool. The officers resume their singing. Cut to a medium shot at bar. A French officer starts forward. Sasha leans forward quietly and lays a restraining hand on his arm. Cut to medium shot. Rick on steps. He listens to the officers sing. His expression deadpan. Laszlo has come out of the room. His lips are very tight as he listens to the song. Cut to crane shot over the room. The room grows deadly quiet. Strasser is on his feet, singing too. As the camera passes the dark European, we see that he is singing the Lacht und Rhein too, but nobody else in the room is. Renault has come in from the gambling room and stands by the door. We can't tell from his expression what he is thinking. And cut to full shot German officers at the piano. Pan shot as Laszlo crosses floor to the orchestra, and cut to medium shot Laszlo as he reaches orchestra. He asks Sam something.
Play the Warsaw. Play it.
Sam looks towards the steps, towards Rick. Close shot Rick. He nods almost imperceptibly. Medium shot Sam and Laszlo and orchestra. As they start to play the first few bars, you cut to medium shot Yvonne and German officer. She jumps to her feet. Allons enfants de la patria. Full shot Sam, orchestra, and Laszlo.
Le jour de gloire. Where'd it go? It went away. Le jour de gloire est arrivé.
Someone in the back of the room adds his voice. A woman joins in. A French officer steps defiantly forward and stands between Laszlo. And cut to full shot room as others stand at their tables singing the Marseillaise. Cut to close shot Rick. His expression hasn't changed. Cut to close shot Renault is smiling faintly, but we still can't tell what he thinks. Cut to full shot room. Everyone is gathered together and is singing. The German officers at the bar and Strasser at his table are very conspicuous because they are so alone. The singing grows more fervent. Chorus. Others now join in from all parts of the room. Guests, waiters, bartenders, native police, etc. The chorus swells, and by now, the German song can scarcely be heard. Medium shot, the German officers. For a few moments, they try oh, there we are. For a few moments, they try to compete with the others and of the room, but it's no use. The German song is smothered under La Marseillaise. One by one, they stop singing, stare out resentfully towards the tables. Close shot, the dark European. He has edged away from the Germans. He is now singing La Marseillaise as fervently as he did the German song. Close shot Rick. His expression hasn't changed. Close shot Renault at door to gambling room. He is smiling faintly, but we can't tell what he thinks. Full shot throng. As they sing, their faces are aglow. Medium shot Ilsa singing at the table. Ilsa glances proudly at Laszlo. Full shot singing people. The music swells as the song is finished on a high, triumphant note. Close shot Yvonne, her face exalted. She deliberately faces the show where the Germans are watching. She shouts at the top of her lungs, Vive la France! Vive la Demarcation! At orchestra platform, several French officers surround Laszlo, offering him a drink. Vive la France! Vive la Demarcation! Medium shot Strasser. His looks are not pleasant. He strides across the floor towards Renault, camera trucking with him. He reaches Renault, who is standing outside the door to the gambling room.
You see what I mean? If Lazo presence in the cafe can inspire this unfortunate demonstration, what more will has proceeds in Casablanca bring on? I advise that this place be shut up at once.
But everybody seems to be having such a good time.
Yes, much too good of a time. The place is to be closed.
But I have no excuse to close it.
Find one.
Renault thinks a moment. Then he blows a loud blast on his whistle. The room immediately grows quiet. All eyes turn towards Renault.
Everybody is to leave here immediately. This cafe is closed until further notice.
An angry murmur starts among the crowd.
Clear the room at once.
Rick comes quickly up to Renault.
How could you close me up? On what grounds?
Renault throws open the door to the gambling room.
I am shocked. Shocked to find there is gambling going on here.
This display of nerve leaves Rick at a loss. The group here comes out of the gambling room and up to Renault. You're winning, sir.
Thank you very much. Everybody out at once.
Cut to medium shot, Ilsa at table. Strasser enters. His manner is heavily cordial. During this scene, the cafe is gradually emptying. The scene should be played at a suspenseful, fast tempo.
That's abbreviation for mademoiselle.
Oh, okay. Mademoiselle, after this disturbance, it is not safe for Lazo to stay in Casablanca.
Ilsa motions to a chair. Strasser bows and sits down. She looks at him questioningly. This morning you implied it was not safe for him to leave Casablanca.
That is also true, except for one distinction. To leave, to return to occupied France.
Occupied France?
Uh-huh. Under a safe conduct from me.
Full shot room as the crowd, prodded on by gendarmes, starts streaming out. They are murmuring disappointedly. Cut back to medium shot, Ilsa and Strasser at table. What value is that? You may recall what German guarantees have been worth in the past.
There's only two other alternators for him.
And what are they?
It is possible that France alternates will find a reason to put him in the concentration camp here.
And the other alternative?
My dear Isla, perhaps you have already observed that in Casablanca, human life is cheap.
She looks at him, understanding what he means. He bows and exits as Laszlo arrives at the table.
Good night, mademoiselle.
We cut to medium shot, Ilsa and Laszlo. Laszlo is helping her on with her wrap. They start out. What happened with Rick?
We'll discuss it later.
Bar. As people are hastily downing their drinks and leaving, one of the German officers addresses Sasha.
I think I'll have a quick one before I go. What's that you're mixing?
Some new drink.
I'll have it.
He reaches over, takes it, drinks it, and then he throws some change on the table, on the bar, starts out, camera trucking with him. After a few steps, a glazed expression comes into his eyes. He clutches convulsively at his stomach. He is running hell-bent for the door as we dissolve to
And
interior.
change narratives to Jackson here.
Okay.
A door is heard to open, and then the lights is switched on, revealing Isla and Lazo. as they enter the room. Isla takes over her wraps while her husband walks over to the window and starts to draw the shades. There there are no words spoken, and we sense a tension between the two. Isla's eyes follow him, but Lazo apparently takes no notice. He looks out of the window. Long shot, man across the street. S- oh my gosh, standing in the doorway of the house. Okay. Uh, enter hotel room at window. Isla enters to Laszlo, stands close beside him.
Our faithful friend is still there.
Victor, please don't go to the underground meeting tonight.
Well, I must. And besides, it isn't often that a man has the chance to display, where'd it go? Thank you, heroics before his wife.
Oh, don't joke. After Strauss's warning tonight, I'm frightened.
Oh, is that me?
That's you, Victor Laszlo. Mhm.
To tell you the truth, my dear, I am frightened too. Shall I remain hiding here in a hotel room, or shall I carry on the best I can?
Oh, whatever I say, you'd carry on. Oh, Victor, why don't you tell me about Rick? What did you find out?
Well, apparently he has the letters.
Yes?
Isla turns away to conceal her emotions. She sits on the edge of the bed. Laszlo follows her with his eyes. He is looking at her steadily and thoughtfully, but in no way apolog- antagonistically.
Antagonistically.
Thank you.
But no intention of selling them. One would think its sentiment wouldn't persuade him. Money would.
Did, did he give any reason?
He suggested I ask you.
Ask me?
He walks across to her and looks down.
He said, ask your wife. I don't know why he said that.
Isla finds it impossible to look at him. She looks away. Laszlo turns off the light switch, making the room dark, except for the dim light that comes from the shaded windows.
Well, our friend outside will think we've retired now. I will go in a few minutes.
He sits down on the bed beside her. A silence falls between them. It grows strained. Finally,
Elsa,
Yes?
pause.
Elsa, when I was in the concentration camp, were you lonely in Paris?
Their faces are barely visible in the darkness.
Yes, Victor, I was.
I know how it is to be lonely. Is there anything you want to tell me?
Oh, cut shot. Isla, in the darkness. Her lips tremble as she controls herself.
No, Victor, there isn't.
Silence then.
I love you very much, my dear.
Yes, yes, I know. Victor, whatever I do, will you believe that I,
You don't even have to say it. I'll believe.
Med shot. The two. After a moment, he gets up.
Good night, dear.
Good night.
He walks out of the scene. She watches him. Then
Victor!
she gets up and exits after him. Med shot. The two at the door. He is just opening it. Enters to him. In the slit of light from the partially open door, we can see her face, which is strained and worried.
Yes, dear.
She hesitates. After a pause,
Be careful.
Ah, of course, I'll be careful.
he kisses her on the forehead and she goes out the door. She stands there for a few seconds, then crosses to look out of the same window as before. Long shot. The figure in the doorway. He's gone. Hotel room. Isla watches for a moment longer. Long shot. A window in the back of the hotel. Laszlo figure is visible against the wall. Gone down the narrow street. Hotel room. Isla leaves the window and crosses the room to the place she dropped her wrap. She puts it on. Then, after a second's pause, she walks to the door and goes out.
And we switch
Dissolve to.
cameras again. We've dissolved to the interior of Rick's office. Rick and Carl are bent over ledgers. Carl is very busy figuring.
Well, you are in pretty good shape here, Rick.
How long can I afford to stay closed?
Oh, 2 weeks? Maybe 3?
Maybe I won't have to. A bribe has worked before. In the meantime, everybody stays on salary.
He walks to the door.
Oh, thank you. Here, Rick. Sasha will be happy to hear it. I owe him money.
Now, can you finish locking up, will you, Carl?
I will. Then I'm going to the meeting of
Don't tell me where you're going.
I won't.
Good night.
Good night, Mr. Rick.
He goes out, and we cut to the balcony outside of his office. Rick walks towards his apartment, and we cut to the interior of Rick's apartment. It is dark. The door is opened by Rick, letting in some light from the hall. A figure is revealed in the room. Rick lights a small lamp. There is Ilsa facing him, her face white but determined. Rick pauses for a moment in astonishment.
How did you get in?
The stairs from the street.
I told you this morning you'd come around, but this is a little ahead of schedule. Won't you sit down?
Richard, I had to see you.
So I'm Richard again. We're back in Paris.
Please.
Your unexpected visit isn't connected any chance with the letters of transit. It seems while I have those letters, I'll never be lonely.
Richard, you can ask any price you want, but you must give me those letters.
Went all through that with your husband. It's no deal.
I know how you feel about me, but I'm asking you to put your feelings aside for something more important.
Do I have to hear again what a great man your husband is? What an important cause he's fighting for?
It was your cause too. In your own way, you were fighting for the same thing.
I'm not fighting for anything anymore, except myself. I'm the only cause I'm interested in.
Oops, sorry, that's me. A pause. Ilsa deliberately takes a new approach.
Richard, we loved each other once. If those days meant anything at all to you,
I wouldn't bring up Paris if I were you. It's poor salesmanship.
please, please listen to me. If you knew what really happened, if you only knew the truth.
I wouldn't believe you, no matter what you told me. You'll say anything now to get what you want.
Oh, you want to feel sorry for yourself? Oh, don't you? Oh, with so much at stake, all you can think of is your own feelings. One woman has hurt you, and you take your revenge on the rest of the world? Oh, you're a coward and a weakling. No, no, Richard, I'm sorry, but you are our last hope. If you don't help us, Victor Laszlo will die in Casablanca.
What of it? I'm going to die in Casablanca. It's just a spot. That's just the spot. Thank you. It's just a spot for it. Now, if you...
Sorry, holding a small revolver in her hand.
All right. I tried to reason with you. I tried everything. Now I want those letters.
Close shot of Rick. For a moment, a look of admiration comes into his eyes. A medium shot of Ilsa and Rick.
Get them for me.
I don't have to. I got them right here.
He has the letters in his hand.
Put them on the table.
No.
For the last time, put them on the table.
Laszlo and the cause mean so much to you, you won't stop at anything. All right. I'll make it easier for you. Go ahead. Shoot. You'll be doing me a favor.
Sorry, my mouse is having so many problems today. Okay, close shot on Ilsa. She rises, still pointing the gun at Rick. Her finger rests on the trigger. It seems as if she is summoning the nerve to press it. Then suddenly, her hand trembles and the pistol falls to the table. She breaks up, covering her face with her hands. Rick walks in the shot, stands close to her, and suddenly she flings herself into his arms.
Oh, Richard, I tried to stay away. I thought I would never see you again, and that you were out of my life. But the day you left Paris, if you knew what I went through, if you knew how much I loved you, how much I still love you.
Her words are smothered as he presses her tight to him, kisses her passionately. She is lost in his embrace, and we fade out. Interior Rick's apartment, a little while later, close shot on a table before a couch. There's a bottle of champagne on the table and two half-filled glasses. We hear Ilsa talking as the camera pans to her and Rick. She's gazing into space as she talks. Rick is standing at a window, looking out, but listening intently.
And then?
It wasn't long after we were married that Victor went back to Czechoslovakia, and they needed him in Prague. But the Gestapo were waiting for him. Just a 2-line item in the paper. Victor Laszlo apprehended, sent to concentration camp. I was frantic. For months I tried to get work, and then it came. He was dead, shot, trying to escape. I was lonely. I had nothing, not even hope. And then I met you.
Why weren't you honest with me? Why did you keep your marriage a secret?
Oh, it wasn't my secret, Richard. Victor wanted it that way. Not even our closest friends knew about our marriage. And that was his way of protecting me. I knew so much about his work. And if the Gestapo found out I was his wife, it would be dangerous for me and for those working with us.
Well, when did you first find out he was alive?
Just before you and I were to leave Paris together, a friend came and told me that Victor was alive. They were hiding him in a freight car on the outskirts of Paris. He was sick. He needed me. I wanted to tell you, but I didn't dare. I knew you wouldn't have left Paris, and the Gestapo would have caught you. So well, you know the rest.
Huh. But it's still a story without an ending. What about now?
Now? I don't know. I know that I'll never have the strength to go away from you again.
And Laszlo.
You'll help me now, Richard, won't you? I mean, you'll see he gets out. And then he'll have his work, all that he's been living for.
Pause.
Well, except one. He won't have you.
I can't fight it anymore. I ran away from you once. I can't do it again. I don't know what's right any longer. You'll have to think for both of us, for all of us.
All right. I will. Here's looking at you, kid.
I wish I didn't love you so much.
She draws his face down to hers. Then Rick hears a noise. Putting his glass down, he goes to the door. She follows. Rick exits. In exterior alley, Laszlo and Carl making their way through the darkness toward Rick's. The headlights of the speeding car swoop toward them and they flatten themselves against the wall to avoid detection. The lights move past them and they continue down the alley.
I think we lost them.
Yes, I'm afraid they caught some of the others.
Come inside. Come.
Interior Rick's. Laszlo and Carl enter and cross toward the bar, out of breath from their exertion.
I will help you. Come in here.
Thank you.
I will get you some water.
We cut to the interior Rick's apartment, Rick and Ilsa, as they hear voices below. Rick crosses to the door. Medium shot of Rick at the door upstairs, Ilsa standing just in back of him. Her expression shows her anxiety for Laszlo. She makes a move as to come out onto the balcony, but Rick's arm bars her way. She withdraws behind the door as Rick walks out to the balcony railing, and we see a full shot of the cafe.
Carl, what happened?
Both Carl and Laszlo look up.
Here, Rick, the police broke up our meeting. We escaped in the last moment.
Come up here a moment.
Carl, who is just about to pour a drink, looks up wonderingly, then puts a bottle down and starts toward the stairway.
Yes, I come.
I want you to put out the light at the rear entrance. It might attract the police.
But Sasha always puts out this light before.
Tonight he forgot.
Yes, I come. I will do it.
Medium shot of the balcony where Rick stands as Carl climbs into the shot.
I want you to take Miss Lunt home.
Carl's eyes grow enormous, but he asks no questions.
Yes, here, Rick.
As Carl goes to the door, Rick starts downstairs, and we cut to a medium shot of Laszlo in front of the bar. He is wrapping one of the small bar towels around a cut in his wrist. Rick comes into the shot, looks questioningly at the injured hand.
It's nothing, just a little cut. We had to get through a window.
He buttons his cuff down over the towel to hold it in place as Rick walks in back of the bar, picks up a bottle of whiskey and pours a drink.
Well, this might come in handy.
He shoves a glass across the bar to Laszlo.
Thank you.
Laszlo takes it in one swallow. Rick is now pouring one for himself.
Had a close one, eh?
Yes, rather.
Don't you sometimes wonder if it's all worth all this? You mean what you're for? I mean, what you're fighting for.
We might as well question why we breathe. If we stop breathing, we die. If we stop fighting our enemies, the world will die.
What of it? Then I'll be out of its misery.
Do you know how you sound, Monsieur Rick? Like a man trying to convince himself of something that in his heart he doesn't believe. Each of us has a destiny, for good or for evil.
Yes, I get the point.
With the bottle in his hand, Rick starts around for the front of the bar, Laszlo's body turning as he presses Rick closely.
I wonder if you do. I wonder if you know that you're trying to escape from yourself and that you'll never succeed.
Rick looks at Laszlo for a moment, then sits down at a table and begins to pour himself another drink.
You seem to know all about my destiny.
I know a good deal about you. I know a good deal more about you than you suspect. I know, for instance, that you are in love with a woman.
Rick has lifted his glass to drink. He puts it down, stares at Laszlo, who stands facing him from the bar.
It is perhaps a strange circumstance that should have been in love with the same woman.
Rick straightens up in his chair, watches Laszlo closely. Laszlo walks over to the table.
But I knew there was something between you and Elsa the first evening I came into this place. Since no one is to blame, I demand no explanations. I ask only one thing.
He sits down and her eyes hold across the table.
You will not give me the letters of transit, all right? But I want my wife to be safe. I ask you as a favor to use the letters to take her away from Casablanca.
Rick stares at Laszlo incredulously.
You love her that much.
Apparently, you think of me only as the leader of a cause. Well, I am also a human being. Yes, I love her that much.
At this moment, there is a sharp knock on the front door of the cafe, followed by the entrance of several gendarmes. Rick and Laszlo rise as a French officer walks into the lighted area, addresses Laszlo.
Mr. Laszlo,
Yes,
you will come with us. We have a warrant for your arrest.
on what charge?
Captain Renault will discuss that with you later.
Laszlo looks at Rick, who smiles ironically.
Seems destiny has taken a hand.
In dignified silence, Laszlo crosses to the police officer. Together they walk toward the door. Rick's eyes follow them, but his expression reveals nothing of his feelings. And we cut to Vicky as an
Interior, Renault's office. Rick and Renault.
You haven't any actual proof, and you know it. This isn't Germany or occupied France. All you could do is find him a few thousand francs and give him 30 days. You might as well let him go now.
Ricky, I would advise you not to be too interested in what happens to Laszlo. If by any chance you were to help him escape,
What makes you think I'd stick my neck out for Laszlo?
because one, you have bet 10,000 francs that Laszlo will escape. Two, you have the letters of transit. Now don't bother to deny it. Well, you might do it simply because you don't like Strasser's looks. As a matter of fact, I do not like him either.
Well, they're all excellent reasons.
I don't count too much on my friendship with you. In this matter, I am powerless. Besides, I might lose the 10,000 francs.
You're not very subtle, but you are effective. I get the point. Yes, I have the letters, but I intend using them myself. I'm leaving Casablanca on tonight's plane. The last plane.
What?
And I'm taking a friend with me. One you'll appreciate.
What friend?
Ilse Lund. That ought to put your mind at rest about me helping Laszlo escape. The last one I want to see in America.
You did not come here to tell me this. You have the letters of transit. You can fill in your name and hers and leave anytime you please. Why are you still interested in what happens to Laszlo?
I'm not, but I am interested in what happens to Ilsa and me. We have a legal right to go, that's true, but people have been held in Casablanca in spite of their legal rights.
What makes you think we want to hold you?
Ilsa is Laszlo's wife. She knows a good deal that Strasser would like to know. Louis, I make a deal with you. Instead of the petty charge you have against him, you can get something really big. Something that would chuck him in a concentration camp for years. And would be quite a feather in your cap, wouldn't it?
It most certainly would. Germany, Vichy would be grateful.
Then release him and be at my place in half an hour before the plane leaves. I'll arrange for Laszlo to come for the letters of transit. That will give you criminal grounds to make the arrest. You get him, and we get away. To the Germans, that will only be a minor annoyance.
There is something I don't understand about this business. Miss Lund, she's very beautiful, yes, but you were never interested in any woman.
Well, she isn't just any woman.
I see. How do I know you'll keep your end of the bargain?
I'll make the arrangements with Laszlo right now in the visitor's pen.
Areti, I am going to miss you. Apparently, you're the only one in Casablanca that has even less scruples than I.
Thanks.
Go ahead.
Oh, by the way, call off your watchdogs when you let him go. I don't want them around this afternoon. I'm taking no chances, Louis. Not even with you.
Quick dissolve to interior visitor's pen. There is the wire netting that separates the visitors from the prisoners. Rick is seated on his side. There is nobody else in the room. And then a door opens and a guard leads Laszlo into the room. As Laszlo, looking coldly at Rick, seats himself, the guard leaves the room. Cut to medium shot, Rick and Laszlo, facing each other across the netting.
I don't have much time. I've bribed a release for you.
Thank you.
I've decided to let you have the letters of transit for 100,000 francs.
Very well.
Better get to my cafe a few minutes before the Lisbon plane leaves.
They'll shadow me.
I've taken care of that.
Renault in his office, listening over a sort of dictaphone. Continued. Laszlo's voice.
And Ilsa?
There is a pause. Renault strains his ears.
Bring her with you.
Renault, Renault smiles broadly. Cut to medium shot. Rick and Laszlo.
Monsieur Rick.
Skip it. This is strictly a matter of business.
Dissolve to interior Ferrari's office, long shot. Rick and Ferrari at table. As the camera moves up to them, we hear Ferrari saying,
Shall we draw up papers, or is our handshake good enough?
Certainly not good enough. But since I'm in a hurry, it'll have to do.
Oh, to get out of Casablanca, to go to America, what a lucky man.
Hang on. Apologize. I have no idea what's going on with my mouse.
Okay.
Let me back it up.
No worries.
Come on. There you go.
Okay. Oh, by
You
the
are-
way.
Ah!
goodness.
Why it's still moving? Oh, you know what? I know what's going on. Okay. I know what's going on. It's because I have paper on my mouse pad here. All right, let me back up. Let's see. Where are we? Okay, we did that already. Down. I'm gonna go over here. Screw it up less.
Oh, to get out of Casablanca, to go to America. You are a lucky man.
Oh, by the way, my agreement with Sam has always been that he gets 25% of the proof of the profits. That still goes.
I happen to know he gets 10%, but he's worth 25.
And Abdul and Carl and Sasha, they stay with the place or I don't sell.
Of course they stay. Ricks will not be Ricks without them.
So long. Don't forget, you owe Rick's 100 cartons of American cigarettes.
I shall remember to pay it to myself.
Rick walks off. Dissolve 2 medium shot plane at airport night. A crew of workmen are giving it the last minute inspection.
And this is where I switch to Jackson as the action from description.
Oh, okay. Exit Rex. On the door, a huge place card is passed. It reads, closed by orders of the prefect of police. Renault hands enter and knocks on door. Dissolve 2. Medium shot at the front door. As Rick comes into scene and opens the door to admit Renault.
You're late.
I was informed when Laszlo was about to leave the hotel, so I knew I would be on time.
I thought I asked you to tie up your watchdogs.
He will not be followed here. Do you know, this place won't be the same without you, Ricky.
Yes, I know what you mean. Yes, I know what you mean, but I've already spoken to Ferrari. You'll still win roulette.
Renault smiles.
Is everything ready?
I have the papers right here.
Tell me, when we searched the place, where were they?
In Sam's piano.
Ah, serves me right for not being a musician.
Excuse me.
That the sound of a car pulling up is heard.
Here they are. You better wait in my office.
As Renault walks towards the office, exit cafe. Lazo is paying the cab driver. Isla is walking towards the entrance.
Here.
Enter cafe at door. Rick is opening it to admit Isla. She goes into his arms. Close shot, Isla and Rick. Her intensity reveals the strands she's under.
Richard, Victor thinks I'm leaving with him. Haven't you told him?
No, not yet.
But it's all right, isn't it? You were able to arrange everything.
Everything is quite all right.
No, Rick.
She looks at him with a vaguely questioning look.
If I'm at the airport, the less time to think, the easier for all of us. Please trust me.
Yes, I will.
Full shot, the cafe, as Lazo comes in.
Monsieur Brain, I don't know how to thank you.
Oh, save it. We still have lots of things to do.
I brought some money, Monsieur Brain.
Keep it. You'll need it in America.
But, but we made a deal.
Oh, never mind that. You won't have any trouble in Lisbon, will you?
Or, no, that is all arranged.
Good. I've got the letters right here. They're all made out in blank. All you have to do is fill in the signatures.
He hands them to Lazo, who takes them gratefully.
Hey, Laszlo.
The wheel towards the door office. Medium shot Renault comes down the steps.
Victor Laszlo, you are under arrest.
Medium close shot, Isla and Lazo, both caught completely off guard and speechless. They turn towards Rick. Horror, uh, horror is in Isla's eyes.
On a charge of accessory to the murder of the couriers from whom those letters were stolen.
He walks into the shot. Notice their bewildered expressions.
Oh, you are surprised about my friend Rick? Oh, the explanation is quite simple. Love, it seems, has triumphed over virtue. Think.
Obviously, the situation delights Renault. He is laughing, and as he turns towards Rick, suddenly the laughter dies in his throat. Full shot, favoring Rick. In Rick's hand is a gun, which he is leveling at Renault.
Not so fast, Louis. Nobody's going to be arrested. Not for a while yet.
Have you taken leave of your senses?
I have. Sit down over there.
Renault hesitates. Close shot, Isla, as her belief in Rick comes back. Full shot, favoring Rick and Renault.
Put that gun down.
Louis, I wouldn't like to shoot you, but I will if you take one more step.
Renault halts for a moment and studies Rick. Then he shrugs.
Under the circumstances, I think I will sit down.
He walks to a table, sits down.
Oops, there goes the bar.
And reaches into his pocket.
Keep your hands on the table.
I suppose you know what you are doing, but I suppose if you realize what this means.
I do. We'll have plenty of time to discuss that later.
Tell off your watchdogs, you said.
Rick takes a photo on the long takes a phone on a long cord, slides it across the table to Renault.
Just the same, call the airport and let me hear you tell them. And remember, I've got this gun pointed right at your heart.
This is my most vulnerable spot. Hello, airport? Captain Renault speaking. There will be 2 letters of transit for the Lisbon plane. There's to be no trouble about them. Good.
Medium shot, Strasse, on phone, in German consult. Hello? Hello! He hands up the receiver momentarily, presses a buzzer on his desk, then again lifts receiver. My car, quickly! My car, quickly!
Nous no failure, Major.
The officer exits. Strasse remains on the telephone. This is Major Strasse. Have a squad of police meet me at the airport at once. At once! Do you hear me? Hanging up the receiver and grabbing his cap, he Early exits. Dissolve 2. Lawn shot. Airport night. In the far B.G, the beacon atop of the radio tower slowly revolves its light, dimmed by a heavy fog. In the middle, B.G,
Yeah,
the that's what, sorry?
background. Stands for background.
Oh, thank you. The outline of the transport plane is barely visible. Near its open door stands a small group of people. Arched exit, etc. A car pulls up near the open door of a hangar. In the
Foreground.
foreground, medium shot, a uniformed orderly is at the telephone near the hangar door.
Hello, radio tower. Lisbon plane taking off in 10 minutes. Thank you.
He hangs up, crosses towards the car. Medium shot at car. The ordinary salutes smartly as he recognizes Renault's alighting from the car. The latter is closely followed by Rick, his hand in pocket, still covering Renault with a gun. Laszlo and Isla come from the rear of the car.
Louis, have your man go with Mr. Laszlo and take care of his luggage.
Certainly, Ricky. Anything you say? Find Mr. Laszlo's luggage and put it on the plane.
Yes, sir. This way, please.
Renault nods. Certainly to the ordinary, who escorts Laszlo off in the direction of the plane. Rick takes the letters of transport out of his pocket, hand them to Renault.
If you don't mind, Louis, you fill in the names. That'll make it even more official.
You think of everything.
He takes out his pen, spreads the papers on the fender of the car.
And the names are Mr. and Mrs. Victor Laszlo.
Both Isla and Renault look at Rick with astonishment.
But why my name, Richard?
Because you're getting on that plane.
But I don't understand. What about you?
I'm staying here with him till the planes get safely away.
Changes for new ending. Casablanca 7/16/42.
So, Richard, no, Richard, no. What's happened to you? Last night we said
a good many things. You said I was to do the thank you for both of us. Well, I've done a lot of it since then, and it all adds up to one thing. You're getting on that plane with Victor where you belong.
Oh, but Richard, just no.
Now, you've got to listen to me. Do you have any idea what you have to look forward to if you stay here? 9 chances out of 10 we'd both land in a concentration camp. Is that true, Louis?
I am afraid Mr. Stretcher would insist.
Long shot. Stretcher's car. Speeding towards the airport. Isla, Rick, and Renault. As Renault is concluding,
you're staying this only to make me go.
Close
Sorry.
shot. Rick and Isla.
I'm saying it because it's true. Besides, inside of us, we both know that you belong with Victor. You're a part of his work. The only thing that keeps him going. If that plane leaves the ground and you're not with him, you'll regret it.
No.
Maybe not today. Maybe not tomorrow, but soon. And for the rest of your life.
For a moment, she can't answer. She's that honest. Then she looks at him, and her eyes are brimming.
But what about us?
We'll always have Paris. We didn't have it, we'd lost it. Until you came to Casablanca, we got it back last night.
And I said that I would never leave you.
And you never will. But I've got a job to do too. Where I'm going, you can't follow, and what I've got to do, you can be no part of. I'm not good at being noble, Ilsa. But it doesn't take much to see that the problems of three little people don't amount to a hill of beans in this crazy world. Someday you'll understand that. Not now. Here's looking at you, kid.
At this moment,
Everything is in order.
he walks into shot. Isla stands hesitantly. Rick cuts in before she can speak.
I'll accept one thing. There's something you should know before you leave.
Monsieur Blaine, I do not ask you to explain anything.
I'm going to anyway, because it may make a difference to you later on. You said you knew about Ilsa and me,
Yes.
but you didn't know that she was at my place last night when you were. She came there for the letters of transit. Isn't that true, Ilsa?
Yes.
She tried everything to get them, but nothing else worked. She did her best to convince me that she was still in love with me, but that was all over long ago. For your sake, she pretended it wasn't, and I let her pretend.
I understand.
Rick hands him the letter.
Here it is.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Welcome back to the fight. This time, I know our side will win. Are you ready, Elsa?
Moment. Close shot, Isla. As she looks at Rick for the last time.
Yes. I'm ready. Goodbye, Rick. God bless you.
You better hurry, or you'll miss that plane.
Medium shot. Isla and Lazo leave in direction of plane. Two shot. Rick and Renault. Renault regards Rick timidly.
And this is where we switch narrators to Carol Ann. Well, I was right. You are a sentimentalist.
I don't know what you're talking about. Stay where you are.
What you just did for Laszlo? And that fairy tale you invented to send Isla away with you? I know a little about women, my friend. She went, but she knew you were lying.
Anyway, thanks for helping me out.
Rick's face reveals nothing. With his free hand, he takes out a cigarette and lights it.
I suppose you know this is not going to be pleasant for either of us, especially for you. I have to arrest you, of course.
As soon as the plane goes, Louis.
Renault shrugs. Longshot airport miniature. The plane motor roars. It slowly taxis down the field. Medium shot near hangar. A car comes speeding down the roadway toward Rick and Renault and screams to a stop. Omitted, medium shot. Strasser alights from the car and runs towards Renault.
What was the meaning of that phone call?
Victor Laszlo is on that plane.
He nods off down the field. Longshot airport miniature. The plane has reached the far end of the field, is turning around, preparatory for the takeoff run. Medium shot near hangar. Strasser is dazed for a moment, then recovers.
Why do you stand there? Why didn't you stop him?
Ask Monsieur Rick.
Strasser makes a step towards the telephone, which is visible just inside the hangar door. Rick pulls the revolver from his pocket and points it at Strasser.
Get away from that phone.
Strasser stops in his tracks, looks at Rick, sees that he means business.
I would advise you not to interfere.
I was willing to shoot Captain Renault, and I'm willing to shoot you.
Longshot Airport miniature. The plane speeds down the field and starts to rise from the ground. Medium shot near hangar. Strasser watches the plane in agony. His eyes dart towards the telephone. Close shot Renault. He watches, fascinated. Medium shot Rick and Strasser. Strasser runs towards the telephone. Strasser desperately grasps the receiver.
Hello? Hello?
Put that phone down.
Get me the radio tower.
Medium shot Rick and Strasser.
Put it down.
Strasser, his one hand with the receiver, pulls out a pistol with the other hand and shoots quickly at Rick. The bullet misses its mark. Rick now shoots at Strasser, who crumples to the ground. Medium shot Rick and Renault. Renault continues to stare off scene. Rick watches upward as the sound of the plane becomes fainter. Long shot sky. The transport grows smaller in the distance. Medium shot near hangar. Rick continues to stare aloft. At the sound of a car approaching, both men turn. Long shot, a police car speeds in and comes to a stop near Renault. 4 police hurriedly alight. Close shot Renault looking at Rick. Close shot Rick as he returns Renault's gaze. His eyes are expressionless. Full shot. The gendarmes run to Renault. Renault turns to them. Gendarme. Mon capitaine.
Monsieur Strasser has been shot. Round up the usual suspects.
Yes, Captain. He leads the other gendarmes off. The 2 men look at each other.
Well, Rick, you are not only a sentimentalist, but you become a patriot.
Maybe. But it seemed like a good time to start.
I think perhaps you're right. It might
Like-
be just as well for you to disappear from Casablanca. I understand there is a free French garrison over at Bravi. I might be induced to arrange your passage.
My letters of transit.
His eyes following the plane, which is now receding into the distance.
I could use a trip, but it doesn't make any difference about our bet. You still owe me the 10,000 francs.
And that 10,000 francs should pay our expenses.
Our expenses.
Uh-huh.
I think this is going to be the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Yeah. We made it!
Woo! We did it!
Oh, yes.
Yay! Guys, I have to actually, I have to head off like right now. I apologize.
That's fine.
I actually have
Thank
to
you.
as well.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but this was great. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank
Well,
you.
hopefully you can join us soon for either Vikings and or Avengers, which are both coming up in the next week.
I'll check. I most likely might be able to do for at least for Vikings, but I will check. All right. Bye.
All right. Good night, you two.
Good
Good
night.
night. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you so much.
Good
I love
night.
everybody.
Thank you.
See you soon.
See
Okay.
you soon.
Well, that was lovely reading you all.
Yes.
That was fun.
I liked the part where it said alternate ending, which made me wonder what the original ending in the script was.
Yeah.
Yes. I was so sad. My character died in the end. Oh, well, he might be still alive, but probably he died.
Probably
He
did.
was shot.
Yeah, very good chance.
I kept after reading all the action descriptions, I couldn't get his voice back, and then I was like, no. It's like, I
Yeah.
don't think tonight wasn't the best night for me. I couldn't read like half the things today, but next of Vikings, I'll do better. We're gonna do it. We're gonna succeed.
Yeah, well, cold reading can be pretty tough.
Yeah.
Especially with this script. I mean, these are the
Some-
quality of the quality of
Yeah.
the typeface is really awful in this one.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. It's hard to read certain words, but yeah, no. It
And
was
there's
fun. I
definitely some
enjoy it.
unfamiliar words in this one too.
Yeah.
Yes.
There were
I
several I
enjoy
didn't know
it.
how to pronounce, like that gendarmes or whatever they are, the
Yeah.
GENDAR, they're like um police officers.
Right.
But that's not a term I'd seen before or heard pronounced anyways before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, yeah. Well, I had fun. I
Oh,
enjoyed it. So,
okay.
and I hope everyone else did. So
I sure did.
You're so
that's,
emotional, Vicky.
I was like, oh, it was fun to watch. The first like scene or whatever it was. Oh, what scene was it? I think it was like the first scene where I was like, was just gasping, and I was like, what? What? That's happening? Trying to think of what the scene was now, but I was like shocked. There were so many times where I was like, this second half was so much more like, whoa, what? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I wanted to be very invested. I think the
Yeah.
first half I was not as invested as I was in the second half. It's like,
And it's actually an inspiration to watch it.
yeah, I want to see it now because I want to see how this whole gets put together. So it's
And it
It's
very
might
interesting.
interesting.
be it
Go
might
ahead.
be hard to find. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's on Prime, but Prime you have to pay for it on there. It's
Right.
probably free on Crave, I think. I'll look, but
Yeah, it
from
might
what
be.
from what I saw on the internet, at least, that's what it told me. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm sure you can find it somewhere, but I mean, it's such a classic movie, and it makes it into one of those, top 100 list of movies all the time.
And it does get played on TV occasionally. Um, I think like on
yeah,
Stars, channels like that.
it was very interesting to see like his motives, like how it kept like her and his like Isla and Brick's like the how they think and how they're the stories as they grew. Like when we found out Laszlo was her husband and everything, and then how he was
Yeah.
like killed. Like it was very interesting to see or hear all that. It's like, huh,
Yeah.
oh, oh, that makes sense. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Having read it in two halves, it's very, as opposed to reading it all the way through all at once, you really get to see that, it really brings forward the differences between what they do in the first half of the script versus
Yeah,
the second half of the script. And
yeah,
I say half, but I mean, I think the second half is probably a little bit shorter, maybe,
Yeah.
but
yeah,
I've arbitrary where to stop it, but just
Yeah.
what
I
it seems.
think it was like 10 o'clock, I think, for the first half when we were
yeah,
done.
And that might
yeah,
be too, because the first half always has more actions and descriptions because you have to describe all the characters. Well, you don't have to, but a lot of scripts do describe, all the characters
yeah,
and background stuff that's going on. Um, and there's so many more characters in the first half just to kind of get like a sense of the setting. I mean, you see the dark European that they mentioned, and the dark foreigner, the one that keeps pickpocketing people. You know,
yeah.
it's
That
not
was
essential to the
me.
story, yeah, but it is essential to the setting of the story.
Yeah,
How much thievery there is going on in these times,
Yeah.
yeah.
and,
So
and all these
far,
minor characters that are looking for their visas, that we don't
oh my
necessarily.
gosh. Yeah,
Mhm.
there were so many of those. It's a very popular thing in Casablanca right now to try leaving from what we see. So far, I've only done two movies or one show, one movie now. So far, my favorite is still from Tom Clancy's one, Joe, the boss dude. He was my favorite, I think, so far. I love him.
Yeah, that was
This
fun.
this one, I don't know which one's my favorite. I think
Favorite
it's definitely
character?
Mafioso, Mr. Ferrari. He's probably my favorite. Just because he's cool. I liked him a lot. What was your favorite? Well, this one what was your favorite, Vicky?
It's a tie between Rick and Ilsa.
Yeah.
I think Rick probably wins. He's such an interesting character.
He is. Yeah, he's definitely really interesting. What about
And
you, Kat?
I'd
Oh,
have to say
sorry.
I really like Renault because he was just, he's
Yeah,
portrayed eventually as the bad guy in the sense that he's head of the police and he has to arrest everybody and but then he's got you know, the order he has to close Rick's bar down
yeah.
and like, on the loose pretext that there's gambling going on and all of a sudden, oh, here's
Which,
the thing, sir. I'm like, oh yeah,
yeah,
that
that
was
one
the
was
feeling,
funny. Yeah. Was that why you chose Renault when you were doing the signing roles? You were like, I think he's cool.
No, actually, because I had him assigned to somebody else in the beginning last week, and so since they just did him
Oh
last
yeah.
week, I thought, well, it's might as well keep reading him. But yeah, he turned out to be very interesting, especially I did not expect that twist at the end where
No.
um goes off with Rick. I
Yeah.
didn't see that one coming.
Seems
Um
like there would be a second movie. Casablanca too. Yeah, no.
there's
well,
so
it sounded like
many
Rick has to go off and do something.
Yeah.
there's so many lines from this movie that are well known.
There was the one line that I said that I thought was like, oh, this seems like a line people would say. I can't think of it now. I'm really Oh, there was one line. It was Strazzer's line. Oh, what is it? He's telling Rick something. Oh, I'll think of it eventually. I'll say it later, but
Which lines were you thinking of, Vicky?
Well, play it again, Sam.
Mhm.
Um, and then at the end, what Rick says to Ilsa, here's looking at you, kid.
Mhm.
yeah.
Uh, there's more.
Oh, and this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. I've heard that one too.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, that's one that I was thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll always have Paris.
Right.
That one I've heard too. And it's so nice, like I said, having not seen this film ever before, and finally getting to understand the context behind these lines that I've heard people say all my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Oh, there's another one done. We finished Casablanca now. Oh, next week's the Vikings.
Next week's Vikings, and that's a small script. There's
Oh,
just a couple
really?
things. Yeah, it's got the main Viking. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name. Starts with an R, I think. Anyways, and his brother, his wife, his son, and then the Earl. Um,
Okay.
and then and Floki, the crazy shipbuilder. And then there's a few small minor parts within there. So, like
So
Finley.
we'll probably have very small roles then, like a very
Um,
like little roles.
I'll probably have no, not too many roles. Yeah, we'll probably just
Yeah,
Yeah.
have a few roles,
that's what I mean.
which
Yeah,
is nice. And then we
yeah.
totally flip that on its head the following week with Avengers when we'll
Oh
have,
my gosh.
I mean, there's like what, six main characters at least. Who's
Yeah,
going to maybe plus Loki, plus Fury, plus
yeah.
Ray's
Fury's a
whole
fun
staff.
one too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so there'll be
so
a
many
ton.
good
So I'm
ones.
hoping that will draw in some extra people. I know at least two folks just joined Table Read Tuesdays specifically to read this play or
Oh really?
that script. Yeah. So um
Oh fun.
so we should
Yeah.
have at least some more people showing up in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Uh,
Hopefully. Yeah. No, I'm really excited for that one. That one will be fun.
so
I
and I have
can't
no
wait.
idea, like I said, it has a lot, well, we'll talk about it in a couple weeks, but it has so many action shots, so there'll be quite a hefty amount of descriptions
Have
too.
you watched the movie? There is
Oh yeah.
so that movie has so much
Mhm.
action. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I
Mhm.
can't wait. But
So, all right. Any closing thoughts before we head out?
I'm really glad we did a second read of it, because this was the
Yes.
very first movie that Table Read Tuesdays read 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago now. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm glad we did it again.
Okay.
Were you a part of it when they did the first read?
No, I didn't
Oh,
start until the second show, The Wizard of Oz, and
oh,
I
that'd
got
be fun.
I actually asked, no, the one I first one I was in was Back to the Future.
Oh my gosh, another good one.
Yeah. And I usually don't request roles. I did.
I've heard. Yeah.
I wanted to be Ilsa. And in The Wizard of Oz, I asked to be the Wicked Witch of the West.
Oh, that's a fun role. Yeah.
I'm going to give you a little demonstration why I asked. I'll get you,
Okay.
my pretty, and your little dog too.
Oh, that's great.
That's amazing. I love that. Oh, yeah, no. I did ask to be Loki, but I'm like, I'm not gonna make it a habit to ask roles, I don't think.
It's fun to have it
It's
just
fun.
happen. Yeah.
Yeah. But Loki's like I love him. He's one of my favorite the Marvel people.
Yeah.
There's like it's him, Scarlet Witch. Um, I've watched a lot of Marvel too. I also like
Yeah.
if we ever did Thor Ragnarok, there's like Hela. Oh, used to be addicted to the Marvel series. But
You never know, if we have a lot of fun and have a lot of readers, we may do a
yes.
second one next season.
Oh yes. How does that
Mhm.
work? Do you have like a full like Zoom call where we just pick movies for the next year? Or like how does that?
We did something like that earlier this year. We had anyone interested wanted to put their inputs in. I had a whole list of scripts that we showed, on the share screen
Yeah.
and talked about, what people liked on that. And then we put up a poll and you could put your initials by the ones that you wanted to read. And then Vicky and I sat down and took a look at all that data and decided, okay, here's what will work, to get a nice blend of shows people wanted to read and a nice blend of,
Yeah.
television versus film. So,
Fun.
and we couldn't fit them all in. There was certainly plenty of ones that we wanted to read too, that there's only so
Yeah.
many a year. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I can't wait.
I can see us doing Table Read Tuesdays for many, many years.
Yes.
we're
Hopefully.
not
Oh,
going to run out of scripts anytime soon, that's for sure.
I'm shocked there's like so little people wanting to join these sometimes because there's like
Yeah.
300 of us in this group.
Yeah. Well, a lot of those followers, they only watch. They've never
Oh,
read.
yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And like most
Oh,
groups, things ebb and flow too. So, I've
yeah.
seen that in other reading groups. Sometimes you get a whole influx and then it kind of goes down, and then you get a whole new ones, and
Yeah.
it just kind of goes back
Yeah.
Yeah.
and forth, depending on people's schedules and their lives.
Yeah.
We all have
Well,
busy
and
lives.
because we're all probably most of us in here are probably actors, so they're like getting big roles if they are movies they're working on and stuff, and they're like, "Oh, I don't have time to do this."
Surprisingly, the percentage of our members that are actors, it's probably more like maybe 30%.
Oh,
There's
really?
a lot of writers. There's like a
Oh, okay.
wide variety of
That's
people.
interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
no. But
Some
yeah.
really like the script writing portion too, which is why we often, we show the script because it's very different than seeing just the acting. Uh,
Yes.
I
Yeah,
remember
no, I'm
watching,
having a lot of fun with it.
yeah, a documentary on some movie the other day, and one of the actors in it was saying how the director was very nice and pretending that the actors actually do contribute something to the film. Because
Yeah.
a lot of times, people think that's all the audience ever gets to see is the actors. They don't get to see the
Yeah.
cameraman, they don't get to see the light person, they don't get to see, the person looking at the script to make sure that, oh wait, that scene is not consistent with this scene here. There's so much more
Yeah.
behind the scenes stuff that you're like, oh, and we have actors.
Yeah. Oh, It's a lot
But
of
yeah,
fun.
it's very interesting to see if you ever get the chance to work on a film,
Yes.
what it looks like. And I
Hopefully.
remember filming something one time with it takes place in a hospital room. And hospital rooms are not large. You've got a bed and maybe a little
Yeah.
test table, and you have a person in the bed and maybe a doctor or a technician in there. You can see two people, and then you have to have the cameraman in there. You have to
Yeah.
have the doctor in there. I think I was in the shower
Yeah, no,
listening to the script as it was going on because
I haven't
there was
done
no
many
other place to put it.
I haven't done many acting things yet, but I was in like music videos for a little bit
Mhm.
there. So there was one time where there's a music video out there where it was for a guy who like does music about suicide and like all that. And it was like to try promoting like not doing that and like how to get ways to figure out like it's all these like self-esteem and stuff like that. And we were in like this abandoned like water treatment plant and it was like -40. It was gross. And the treatment plant had no heating. And half the time we were outside of the treatment plant and the outside was like there's a big lake and we had to walk on this lake. Terrifying. Um and stand on like a big cliff. And when you're someone like me afraid of heights, and there's a random director and then a cameraman who's like, if they make the wrong move, they're falling off this cliff. It's the most scary thing ever. But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. I would do it again, but it was terrifying and it was cold. But yeah,
Negative.
no.
No, that'd be cool. Whether it's no matter your temperature scale.
Oh yeah, you're not Celsius.
I know we're in Fahrenheit, but
Yes,
that -40 Celsius is still bloody cold.
it is.
When you get down to those numbers, suddenly they're the same.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're both -40. Well, I'm going to depart. I have a very early morning. I have to be somewhere for 6:30 in the morning.
Ouch.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
gross.
yeah.
Yeah, that's when they do operations and things.
Yeah. Oh, well, have fun. I will see you soon, Vicky.
Yes,
Uh, and
two
I'll
weeks.
two
Or
week.
1 week. Our next reading's actually next week.
Well, I'll
Oh,
see you next.
Yeah, because we had this is an extra reading, so we stuck it
That's
in.
Yeah.
right.
So
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
we have one next week and the week after because the
Well,
schedule is a little wonky.
I'll see you for a little bit before your
Okay.
show, but yes. Okay.
Good.
Well, and I'll see you next week too.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
No.
All right.
Have
Well, good night,
a
you two.
wonderful night. Yes, you too. Sweet dreams.
Stop the recording.
Yep.
Yes.
Stop automatically. I can do
There
it
we
now.
are.
Okay. Bye.
All right, good
Bye.
night.